So here's our last video on solving equations. It's actually the third, not the fourth, so I'll go ahead and change that to a 3. All right, equation on the left, I'm going to walk you through this by working with the fractions. Anytime that you have some distributing to do, you want to go ahead and take care of that first. So it's 3/4, we're going to multiply. We have 3/4 x, and the 3/4 times a -5. Let's make that a 5/1. Multiply the numerators. 3 times -5 is a -15. Over 4 times 1 is 4. Equals 2/3. All right, now that everything's all multiplied out, we can actually start solving. We have to undo any addition or subtraction first. So that minus of 15/4, we'll go ahead and add 15/4 to both sides. And off on the side, I'm going to go ahead and do that math, get a common denominator. Your denominators are 3 and a 4, so between those two, we can multiply and get them up to 12. So we multiply the top one by 4 over here. Let's multiply this one by 3. And so we have, what is this, 8/12 plus 15 times 3 is 45/12. Keep your denominators the same and add your numerators. So 45 plus 8 is 53. So when we rewrite our equation, let me switch to a new color because this is going to get messy. I'll go ahead and do this. So that was just our work. But we have 3/4 x equals 53/12. All right, so now we just have to undo that multiplication. But when you are multiplying by a fraction, you can go ahead and multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply by a 4/3. That will make that cancel in one step. So you can see we have x alone. Just make sure you multiply this side by a 4/3. So the numbers are getting kind of big. This is where I would like to go ahead and reduce before I multiply. You're looking for any numbers on the top that might reduce with any numbers on the bottom. So I can see that this 4 will fit into this 12 3 times, and that becomes a 1. So you multiply what's left, and you have 53 times 1, which is 53/9. And then think about whether or not this will reduce, but a 53/9 does not reduce. So we'll go ahead and leave that. All right, so this next example, or just kidding, same example, multiply by, where we're going to multiply by one number that will make everything cancel. You do want to start the problem out the same way, where if you have any distributing to do, you go ahead and distribute. So we make that 5 a fraction. 3/4 times x is just 3/4 x. And then when we multiply 3 times that -5, multiply the numerators, you get a -15 over 4 times 1 is 4. Yep, that's right, okay. Equals 2/3. So now we want to pick one number that we can multiply everything by to make this cancel. So you look at your denominators. You have a 4, and a 3. So we want to pick the common denominator between these, the smallest number that they all fit into, and that's going to be a 12. Let me go ahead and separate these. So we're going to multiply 12 by every single term in our equation. We'll do 12 times 3/4. So 12/1 times a 3/4. And your denominator 4 is going to fit into 12 a certain number of times, in this case 3 times. So then you just multiply what's left. 3 times 3 is 9, and the x stays with it. Now this is a positive 12 times this negative fraction, so I know it's going to be negative, but we'll go ahead and do the math up here. 12/1 times 15/4. Again, 4 fits into 12 3 times. 3 times 15 is 45. Equals, and I'm running out of room, we have to do 12/1 times, actually, I think I can do this. Yep. Times 2/3. And 3 fits into 12 4 times. You're left with 4 times 2, so we get 8. All right, so now it's just a two-step equation to solve for x. We'll undo the subtraction first, so we'll add 45 to both sides. Leaves us with 9x equals 8 plus 45 is 53. Undo the multiplying by 9 by dividing by 9. So x equals 53 over 9. So I say this at the end of these fraction videos. Pick the method that you're the best at and stick with that. As long as you're getting correct answers, it shouldn't matter which way you go.